Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things narcissism, and this video is several reasons as to why a relationship with a narcissistic person does not work. Now, it can be part of the grieving process, going through that stage of denial when you recognise the kind of person you have been dealing with, and this can be a parent, a childhood friend, a co-worker, an intimate partner, as somebody's or your narcissistic partner is somebody else's narcissistic ex, somebody else's narcissistic parent, somebody else's narcissistic child, somebody else's narcissistic friend, somebody else's narcissistic family member. They don't just stop being a narcissist. They don't just stop the narcissistic behaviour, the exploitative behaviour. They vary who they are depending on who they are around. And as they can treat you so well one minute, it's very confusing when the next minute they treat you so poorly and blame you as to why they've treated you poorly. They condition you into behaving and acting in a manner around them that serves them. They condition you into questioning yourself, doubting yourself, blaming yourself. They condition you into living life on their terms. So we can get stuck in that denial stage, and through society as well, we can question why we shouldn't cut our parents off that raised us, that childhood friend that we grew up with, that cousin that we grew up with, why we shouldn't leave our job, that the boss just has a lot on, that somebody's just having a bad day, that they don't behave like that all of the time. And we ourselves can have one of those days. We can take things out on those we are close to. So we can also question, well, I'm not perfect. Whereas with a narcissistic person, they genuinely believe they are perfect, and anything that they do wrong, they go around blaming on everybody else, which is why it will not work with a narcissistic person. They simply lack the empathy to care about you. They lack the empathy to care about those around themselves. They just have enough awareness to use your compassion against you. Try and share your good news with a narcissistic person and they're going to discredit it. They're going to pull it down. They're going to bring the topic back onto something they've done. Not to have a two-way conversation, to outdo you, to outsmart you. Share your bad news with a narcissistic person and they're going to tell you that you need to deal with it, you need to get over it. They're not interested. They're not saying those things to be supportive of you. They're saying those things because they're not interested. Now, we can all hold on to pain for a little bit longer than perhaps we should or we would like, and we can all have that friend that's just fed up of hearing it, that just turns around and is having one of those days and turns around and says, you need to get over this now. That isn't doing it to criticise you or punish you, although we can feel offended. They're doing it to be supportive. They're doing it to try and get you to work on yourself. And if somebody is willing to push you forward in life, and may say something out of character or out of line or something that offends you, if they're usually there for you and rooting for you and pushing you forward, they're not against you. Narcissistic people will outdo your bad news. They've always suffered far worse than you. They'll bring it on to how that's nothing compared to what they've been through. They don't do favours for you. They only do favours for you if they can later down the line use those favours against you by turning around and saying, what about when I did this for you? After all I've done for you, I gave up my career to raise you, because they blame you for why their life went down the pan rather than doing something about their life. When in a relationship with a narcissistic person, one of the most difficult things to recognise is they are simply not interested in you. They're interested in getting their needs met by you because they believe they're entitled to have everything their own way. There is no give and take with a narcissistic person. They only give so they can take. When it comes to a narcissist, they believe that everything should be about them. They believe that they're entitled to do as they please. They believe that everything should go their way. And when it's not going their way, they're going to turn around and accuse you of being selfish and stubborn and awkward, so that you question who you are and not what they're doing to you. And they are arrogant enough to believe that they are always in the right. They have all the confidence. They have that charismatic charm. They just lack the competence. They lack the ability. They lack the self-awareness. So when you're dealing with somebody that always has to be right, you're always going to be made to feel like you are doing something wrong. You've said something wrong. They're going to invalidate you. They're going to pull you down. They're not interested in your point of view. Whenever you try to talk to them about something that they don't perhaps agree on, they're not going to debate this with you. They're going to shame you, blame you, criticize you, mock you. They're going to accuse you of causing arguments. They're going to accuse you of ruining the day. Nothing ever gets resolved with them, because they always have to be right. And they will use your emotions against you. They exploit you any way they can, and one way they exploit you is by using your emotions against you. So they are going to, at certain stages, treat you well, do things for you, again, so they can use those things against you, or so that they can look good to those around you. They only do things for themselves. So they will love bomb you so that you shower them with that appreciation and that gratitude, which is the validation they're seeking from you. And we all like that validation. However, most people don't go out of their way to do something for another to gain that validation, to look good. Narcissistic people do it to look good. They sell you an illusion, a false belief of who they can be, to keep you clinging on to absolutely nothing, to keep you holding on to that hope. And they blame you when they show you who they can also be. And you didn't change them. They just showed you who they can also be, especially when you say no, when they don't get their own way, because they believe they're entitled to exploit people. They play the victim if you try to hold them accountable on anything. They guilt trip you by saying, after all I've done for you. Are you really going to go there with them? They interfere too much. They don't really like you. They do all they can to isolate you so that you've got no one to go to other than them. They're very envious of your happiness. They're envious of your success. Therefore, every time you're happy, they're going to seek to ruin this for you. Every time you're successful, they're going to seek to ruin this for you. They're not supportive of you. They don't want to see you grow. They don't want to see you do well. This questions their own insecurities, their own inadequacies, which they're trying so hard to hide. So instead of dealing with their own inadequacies and insecurities, which we all have, they seek to pull you down. They seek to tear you down. They seek to sabotage you. They seek to watch you fail. And then they gloat. They might come along strong and pretend to help, when what they're really doing is sabotaging you, making you dependent on them, reliant upon them. They create scenarios. Narcissistic people are envious of you and usually believe you're envious of them, and they will create scenarios with their fantasies to get you to have those feelings of jealousy and resentment towards them. And once they've created that scenario, once they've created those feelings within you, this validates them, this makes them feel superior, this helps them believe that you're the one with the issue because you're the one that's envious of them. They're not envious of you. They've already ruined everything for you. But you, on the other hand, you're the one that's envious of them. You're the one with the problem. And as they're unwilling to see another person's point of view, as they're always right, there is no discussing this with them. There's no two-way conversation, because they believe that you're the one that's causing all the problems, while you're the one left changing yourself time and time again to try and avoid causing the problems. which are inevitably unavoidable because the narcissist is creating them and then failing to communicate, so nothing gets resolved. Narcissists don't congratulate you on anything. Instead, they find a way to create insecurities within you about everything. They seek the admiration. They might flatter you. They might give you that insincere praise. They might do something for you. That is because they are seeking that validation in return. They're seeking that admiration in return. They're going to flatter you so that they can get a compliment from you. And as you're genuine, you offer them a genuine compliment. They are going to do something for you to gain that admiration, to gain that gratitude, to gain that eternal obligation. And if you don't thank them quite as much as they would like, they seek to punish you. We can all do something for another person. We can all just simply hold a door open for somebody just because we feel like holding the door open for someone. And then they can walk past quite arrogant and not say a word. And we can all just think, oh, thanks. Just as like, it's just nice just to say thank you. We didn't do it for them to say thank you. And we're not going to 10 years later down the line go, what about that time I held that door open for you? A narcissist does it for the thanks. And that's it. There's no two-way street. They do it for the thank you. They do it to sell people an illusion of of who they are as a person. And they will hold it against you. Most narcissistic people won't hold the door open for you because they feel entitled and believe you should be holding it open for them. However, if there's an audience or something to gain, they will. And with that admiration, seeking that attention, seeking that validation, when someone is celebrating a success, a narcissist will go all out to ruin the occasion because it's not all about them. When somebody is celebrating something because the limelight has been taken away from the narcissist, the spotlight has gone from the narcissist ruins it for those around them. And the narcissist isn't happy that somebody else is happy, so they ruin it for those around them. They have to be the one who's in charge of other people's feelings. And they're very grandiose, they're very self-obsessed. They will try to make out that you're the one that's making it all about you, when in reality they're projecting onto you because they want to make it all about them. However, they don't want you to recognize what they're doing. And in some cases, they don't recognize what they're doing. It's just from unconscious thought and a learned pattern of behavior. With others, it is intentionally done and it is consciously done. It's never going to work with somebody who feels entitled to have everything their own way, who lacks the empathy to care about you, who is willing to exploit you, who is envious of you, and who is arrogant enough to believe that they can get away with it. It's just not going to work. All it's going to do is bring you crashing down, because they want to bring you crashing down so they can raise themselves up. There's many a reason why it will not work with a narcissistic person. This video is just a few reasons based on the criteria of the disorder. There's other criteria to the disorder. Any reasons you noticed as to why a relationship will not work with a narcissistic person, please do add those into the comments. I shall link into the description the video on grief to explain more on that. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.